Hi, this is Julia Widup with Talk Story Media, and we have with us today Eli Colby. He's going to be talking about his new book, War in the Hearts of Men. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's Coberly.
Coberly, I'm sorry.
That's
And
okay.
um, tell us about your book, Eli.
Yeah, I published it on the equinox, fall equinox 2022. War in the Hearts of Men is my chronicles. Travel. It's like a travelogue, but what I do is I talk about the metaphorical journey through symbolism and the illusions that we have along the way. And I sort of use my life as an example.
Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. And you're going to talk about um, changing changing up some of the attitudes that people have towards the feminine, I understand, right?
Yeah, so it's a paradigm shift that's occurring naturally that um, through the great cycles of time that the Maya people talked about. We have cyclical nature of time as opposed to linear with the current Gregorian calendar. And these grander cycles are something that the Maya people calculated and something that we can sort of use to for a template to change and bring about this new feminine aspect of the world.
More nurturing and life affirming.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I think that's what we were trying to do in the 60s. And so now you guys are coming in and trying again.
Yeah, it's just a seed that generation, your generation planted for the following generations.
I'm really pleased this is happening. Very pleased. Tell us more about how the book is structured.
Yeah, so well, first of all, my writing for this book and the one I did before is I started writing and I just let kind of spirit guide me as far as my own dreams, my own intuition. A lot of it is written after I have a dream or meditate or something, or one teacher will lead me to the next or one experience. And um, all I knew was like the title. The title came first, and when I was meditating, but it's basically a chronology of my experience traveling to Central America and South America and following little tidbits of mythology and information that I received while meditating, dreaming, or studying. And it's sort of like my greater perspective on colonialism based on my experience in the army in the late 90s.
Oh, wow. Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, I was just like a regular American from a small town, and I joined the army because I wanted to make a difference, right? Where some people might go to Peace Corps or something like that, or
You thought the army would do it.
yeah. And I didn't understand. I was just really naive, and but it was something that helped me form my worldview in a positive way to share with others. But I went overseas to Saudi Arabia and saw some interesting things, so much different from our culture, and basically what America's role has been in colonialism and expanding our Western ideals.
Is what are we trying to do in expanding our Western ideals?
Well, it takes money to make money, right? So America is a big business, and you know that is like we have situation where we're like, well, we're got more mouths to feed and we need more minerals to make money and we need more production. And so I kind of went through seeing seeing us, doing oil business over in Saudi Arabia, seeing us sell our jet fighters to the prince, and also understanding the greater cycles of how other societies got money and how their architecture was not only like physical architecture but metaphorical architecture in their bodies and their understandings of their interactions.
And how were they different in the case of the Saudis?
Well, I mean, this is a Bedouin culture. They they were traveling around in the desert, and all of a sudden, some Ramco, now the biggest grossing oil company ever, with record profits this year. I was guarding those oil tankers, their business. So, but what I'm telling you more about is the leaders of throughout time in any civilization, how they basically their inner landscape and their architecture is more about achievements and more about control and more about an understanding of domination rather than a receptivity like the flow of the river, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's real obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So do you have steps? Did you kind of outline steps people could do to expand into that area, more nurturing area?
No, I don't believe in a panacea of steps or linear options. That's the whole thing. Is I could have written a self-help book that had 7 steps to inner freedom or 33 hacks to the new you, but I don't feel as if that's my calling, and it's pretty played out in my opinion. Granted, there are a few real big books like the 4 Agreements that have wonderful steps. Those are 4 simple agreements that kind of basically encapsulate thousands of coffee table books that are just so narrow in scope. What I did was I wrote a self-help book that was timeless. In other words, I feel as if I wrote something that encapsulated the understanding of how our bodies are hurled through time and space, and how we can use that individually in our own journeys, as opposed to having someone tell you this is what you got to do.
Yeah. Okay. And you sent me a book and I've started it. And excuse me, I want to tell anybody who is watching now that they can have this copy when I'm finished with it if they call me at 970-200-LOVE. And I will send it to the first person who calls and asks for it. So tell us more about your book, how you got the idea to write this book.
Like I said, I was meditating, and I have a decent meditation practice, or a regular one anyway. And I was like, what is this? I knew I had to write a second book to follow up to my first one, because it kind of ended where it was an actual experience of me in the jungle with another person, and we almost died. And so I thought, oh, well, what next? And I started writing. I became disenfranchised with these ideas of masculine principles and feminine principles, as if there's one or the other, understanding that in the center of our spine is this highway of light, and these 2 energies, like the ancient people talked about, like Kundalini and all this, and these 2 energies spiraling like snakes. And so I thought, serpents, okay, this is, I was meditating, War in the Hearts of Men, right? War in the Hearts of Men. The name just came to me before anything. And then I thought, serpents, though, there's a lot of serpents that are throughout time and space and art and architecture. What's that about? And I thought, oh, the Garden of Eden, and the serpent, and why is that bad? And you're into shamanic practices, so serpent is kind of like fundamental to the Peruvian intake of ayahuasca and things like that. Well, I thought, man, there's got to be something more to all this. And so I just kind of followed one trail and one idea around this dynasty that was found in Central America, and how there was another dynasty influencing these people, and it was called the Khan dynasty, which means serpent. So I just thought, I started there with the lead, and then at the end, as I progress, I talk about all the cultures and sort of magic and illusion and all these things. And at the end, I kind of go into where we're headed, but also I talk about unconventional warfare, which a lot of leaders have used through symbolism. And the symbolism comes up over and over and over again. And it's pretty common to see these. Like, one example is the swastika, how Hitler used that as a massive campaign to use energy from what was already existing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's too bad he that he kind of changed the whole meaning of that symbol for everybody. Now it's more of a symbol of evil.
Yeah, just like ISIS, the Middle East. ISIS was a Egyptian goddess ruler who was more about the feminine, right? And then now we have ISIS, the people, the group, the hate group that's killing people, the terrorists, right?
Flipped everything on its head. Yeah. Wow. And where could they get your book, or do you have a video out about it or anything?
Yeah, if you go to my website, elicoberly.com, my book War in the Hearts of Men, you'll find a video that sort of encapsulates the symbolism that I talk about and show in the book. And then you'll also find all my travels and photos of places I've been and things like that. I'm on Instagram, Eli Coberly.
Okay. And if we decide to do a longer or a rerun on this, would you be available to answer people's questions and stuff? Maybe we could do
Oh
that.
yeah. Yeah,
That'd
that'd be
be good.
I'd enjoy that.
Okay. And that's another reason I had to keep it under 15 minutes, but so we could do that, because I would like people to get a chance to ask you questions after they've read a little or seen the video and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Eli Coberly, Colby.
COB. It's sorry. COBERLY.
Erly. Okay, Coberly.
Correct.
Okay, so that's elicoberly.com.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Anything else that you want to add about the book?
Just a lot of it was around the concepts of the equinox, which today we have the equinox, which is beautiful, and the two different concepts and the merging of the two.
Right, okay, fabulous. All right, I'm going to sign off now, and we'll discuss when to rerun this so that people can see the rerun.
Okay, thanks, Julia.
Thank you.